Peter Cushing. He has 3,000 soldiers, enough to mount a fair-sized action. He has the coronation procession in miniature and his own model circus and farm. Peter has a small world all his own in a special glass-fronted cupboard. And every now and then, he finds relaxation in laying on a private wall. Now what's our friend up to? Enemy planes located, near the ceiling. Fire! And those parachutes really work, just as everything should in a model world.
It's episode 42, so we're going to be answering the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. Psst, it's toys. Because I'm Robo. This here's the Rewind. Swinging slightly back to last week's Wonder Festival, somebody pointed out the LPZZ Arkham Knight Batman, and my response was, nah, I already talked about the NART DC stuff back at San Diego Comic-Con, to which they came back with, no, dummy, this is another company doing 1/12 scale Arkham series figures. And then I went, oh yeah, it is, isn't it? I am a dummy. Okay, the dummy part is in my own brain, but the point still stands. Good grief, are these companies killing it with Arkham Batman. And you have to admit that the LPZZ showing at Wonder Festival and NART are very similar in style and standards, I guess? Quality of prototypes, that's what I was looking for. They both look mind-blowingly amazing, not just in the sculpt department. That goes without saying. I mean, you look at them and you think, how is there that much detail in these figures? For me, it's the painting, the shading, the sheen. Oh man, it does such a good job of making you think, is that a still from the get? Nope. There's articulation. It is a toy. It does a great job of running right up to that tipping point of suspension of disbelief that it is an action figure. The Batman isn't quite up for pre-order yet. There are some overseas sites that have solicitations listed, but it's just for the deposit. There's not even a full price up yet, so I'm kind of, I don't want to commit just yet. I want to see the price first. But once that happens, it seems that Batman's not going to be alone for long. At Wonder Festival, LPZZ had other Arkham series figures on display like Harley and Joker and Deathstroke and Arkham Knight. And Red Hood, who I guess is a color swap with Arkham Knight because that was the whole plot twist. Sorry for spoilers for a game that's been out a while now. I didn't make it that far into the series. I'm an Asylum and City type guy. Past that, I think I tried the next game and I got to Deathstroke and it was like, I cannot beat you. I'm going back to City. Anyway, between LPZZ and NART, it seems the Arkham series is covered for the foreseeable future. I think this has been teased for a couple of weeks, but this week Bandai posted this silhouette for their next offering in their SH Figuarts My Hero Academia series, and it's Todoroki. It's gotta be. The first tease was Fire and Ice. So this added to that, besides it being an obvious silhouette of Todoroki, then yeah, expect to see that figure at New York Comic-Con, I think they're saying. Like we discussed when they revealed Midoriya and Bakugo, I haven't made it this far into the series. Apparently these are their costumes from season 7, so I'm guessing that Shoto will be in that same costume, which isn't that much different than his regular costume. It's just got some extra straps and some gauntlets, but it's different enough. It's a look that other companies haven't made yet. And that's what's so interesting about this series, is they're going for the most recent looks, as far as I know. There could be something after season 7. Is there a movie on the way? Maybe we'll see Uraraka in her pink shirt. None of their costumes are a huge departure from what we're used to, but they're different enough to be unique. Either way, I'm recording this early because I have things to do this weekend. If they've already shown Todoroki by the time this goes live, well, welcome to the Rewind. That's usually how it happens. Okay, jumping back out here because I went to edit this video and they did show it, and it's exactly as I predicted. It's his season 7 look, which isn't that far of a stretch. I mean, like I said, the others were in it so far. Why wouldn't they go for it? So it's not like I had any keen detective skills going on. It seems he comes with power effects for the chest. There's the half ice, half fire. There's ice for the right hand. I'm gonna guess there's fire for the left. sculpt, and then at least one alternate head with the screaming face, the hair. We'll know more at New York Comic Con. Then, so I'm gonna get back in there, get back to editing. Keeping with the reveals that don't quite have pre-orders yet, there are a few tidbits from McFarlane's DC Multiverse this week. They have announced a couple of gold label Walmart exclusives, starting with Action Comics Superman. It's essentially full reuse of the figure that was released back in 2020. Same single elbows, same chunky ankles, same seam lines, same head, just new fabric cape, and they've altered the chest. Now, I'll admit, a soft goods posable cape and a flat symbol to make it more classic feeling does go a long way. But then, Action Comics, maybe it's supposed to be a classic Superman. It's got the seams, it's got the extra things on it, it's got the outdated articulation points. Then again, it's Walmart exclusive, so pick your battles, I guess. Because the Hal Jordan Green Lantern is mostly the same situation. It's the body we've seen with several Hals and John Stewarts, and then the constructs are from the 2-pack with Dawnbreaker, I think it was. But I do think the head sculpt is new, and then the shiny costume is different from previous iterations, so there is that, in case that changes it enough for you. But again, Walmart exclusive, so it appeases a major retailer with big names, and it puts figures out there for people who aren't as nitpicky as some of us are when it comes to our favorite characters. There are collectors, there are customers out there that just go, hey look, it's Green Lantern. Hey look, it's Superman. On the pegs at Walmart. I will buy that and be happy and go about my life without knowing all the things that go on the internet and the collecting community at large. Like I said, no pre-orders yet. I'm not sure if this is part of next week's Collector Con or it's just going to be its own thing. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Moving to upcoming pre-orders, I reviewed the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legion's Skeleton Legion Builder 2 a few weeks back. And at that time, everybody was like, well, I'd like to get that, but it's not available. Well, have I got some news for you? Just in time for Halloween, they'll be shipping out the Graveyard Skeletons 4-pack, which is that Legion builder in a different color scheme with a few new accessories. Quadrupled. It's a 4-pack. There's 4 of them. I know when I said Legion Builder 2 a minute ago, it made it sound like a 2-pack, but it's the second skeleton. It's the updated version with the improved articulation and such. So, there's so many numbers, I confuse myself. Instead of the ivory or yellowish color of the previous releases, these are an ashen gray, or white with a heavy gray wash. I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw the text of the announcement, I thought, well, it's not gonna be that much different from the, that's quite a bit different. I love a good grayscale paint scheme, so this just sings to me, and that was before I saw the new parts. Well, okay, I say new parts. The vampire and pumpkin heads are repurposed from other releases, but I don't know about those other releases. I'm new to Mythic Legion, so these are new to me. They're new to the skeleton. How about that? The unique additions are these skeleton masks. Yes, it's skeletons wearing skeleton masks. They're disguising themselves from each other. Ted, is that you? Nope, not me. It's a masquerade ball. Masquerade ball. It's a skull face over a skull face. The post even reads, why? We don't know, but it definitely is fun. And that's really what it's all about, right? Well, okay, the hokey pokey and fun. That's what it's all about. Everything else just falls in place. Then along with lots of hands, an extra set of feet for some reason, I don't understand that, some shields, some swords, some spears. This definitely is not a bare bones set. Bare bones. Speaking of scary things in masks and future pre-orders, Mattel has announced that their Masters of the Universe Masterverse oversized Horde Trooper will go up exclusively on their Mattel Creations site next Tuesday. Specifically October 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain. For those, I was about to say, it's fairly easy math, but then I stumbled doing it myself, so there you go. This was revealed in a live stream back in March, but that doesn't make this any less exciting because look at this big bastard. Now, I'm not doing Masterverse much anymore, but besides this being a big tank to throw against She-Ra and He-Man, it's also a big mech type custom fodder piece for a very nice price of $33. Hopefully, with it being an army builder, they'll have enough on hand to appease both the people who want to flank Hordak with an army, or people like me who just want to tear it apart and make other things out of it. But a couple of things here. They keep using the term oversized throughout the listing. Does that mean there may be a smaller Horde trooper down the line and this is some kind of leader or general? Has that already been announced and I forgot? Which is a huge possibility. What I didn't forget though is that there are more features than are shown on the page. The package and backdrop does showcase the removable chest armor and limbs, but that's artwork. The listing also states includes removable helmet, head, shoulder armor, arms, legs, and hands. But again, no photographic evidence of that. To see how it's at least planned to work, you gotta go back to that March live stream. There they showed some Wile E. Coyote schematics demonstrating the various parts popping off. Basically, it's got Origins functionality, not for part swapping, but to show levels of damage or repair. Because apparently this is an exosuit for a Horde Goblin. And I'm imagining some kind of Ironmonger scenario where it's just crunched up into the torso piece. And that is a neat addition to the lore, but if it's not fitting into your own personal canon, you can just leave the helmet on. And that may be why they list the head as removable too. The helmet has a translucent visor where you can kind of see the goblin's face behind it. If that's too much, pop the helmet off, pop the head off, put the helmet back on, you got yourself a Horde Trooper robot. That way the forces of good can just recklessly blow the hell out of all the troopers, guilt-free. They're not killing living beings inside, it's just robots. Pop them apart, throw their limbs all over the place, explosions, blasty blasty, shoot shoot shoot. It's like we always say. No. We always say options are good. That way we can do what we want with our toys. Why y'all so mean? Moving to later in the month, October 28th to be exact, pre-orders will open up for the Fresh Monkey Fiction Bizarre World of Naughty or Nice, Peter and Patch Pumpkin. Y'all getting crazy with the names. Last year it was run as kind of a crowdfund, where if they got enough pre-orders put in, then they would go into production. Unfortunately, it didn't go through. Seems this year, they're just going all out. They're just going to get them made, put pre-orders up. At least that's how I understand it at this exact moment. They haven't released all the information yet. They just showed this pretty picture and said pre-orders are coming exclusively on Big Bad Toy Store, October 28th. It's mostly the same as what we saw last year, except Patch now has Peter's boots, and they've altered the head sculpt to be way more sinister. The eyes are shaped more angry, and the mouth is a big old grin. This does use parts and pieces from their Santa sculpt, though, so we know it's a good quality figure, and most of those parts are already tooled. So it's just a matter of putting your pre-order in at the end of the month, if this is your thing. They've promised more pictures and info as the month goes on before the pre-orders go up, so let's see where this goes. As for pre-orders that have already come and gone, of course the Mezco 1/12 Collective, Rumble Society, Decapod Gang, Carbone Brothers have already sold out. Carbone? Carbone? Carbone. I'm not even saving it to the end of the segment anymore. Right up front, this is waitlisted. We got a taste of these guys last week during the Deluxe Doc Nocturnal solicitation, so we knew they were coming. We just didn't know it was going to be a week later. First glance, I thought they were two of the exact same figure, but no. Well, okay, one has a white shirt with a red tie, and then the other has a black shirt with a white tie. And then the head sculpts are different too. I didn't really register that until I watched D Amazing's review of these, where it was like, okay, one is more angry than the other. They definitely have their own personalities. If you want to watch that, it should be right here. I should have it linked right here. And then to swap things up even more, there's swappable mandibles. And I say it like that because I've tried it several times. Swappable mandibles. Now I can do it every time. Swappable mandibles. Swappable mandibles, fedoras, and sunglasses. Again, options are good. Change things up. And then since they're gangsters, they also include all kinds of appropriate accessories, weapons, and blast effects. It's a classic Mezco formula. Take a base body, which is double jointed. D Amazing made sure to point that out. Put some real world type clothes on it, and then slap a fantasy or monstrous type head on top. Ba-boom! Rumble Society. Guaranteed sellout. Every time. So you can't really hack on the business model. It's what's working for Mezco. Why would they change it up? But if you did miss out, the Lobster Mobsters will be available at New York Comic Con. if you're going to New York Comic-Con. And no, I didn't come up with lobster mobsters. You can thank my best good friend Dis Thunder for that. Again, right here. Go check him out. Moving into pre-orders that you can place right now. I know, it's crazy. Here is the LADo Toy Liya Repairman version. Hey, guess what? I don't know a damn thing about this besides these pictures. Seems LADo, or LADo, is a new toy company, starting their X account just a few weeks ago, which isn't a terrible thing. New companies start every day. I just wanted to throw that out there to establish that they do not have a track record. All I can go by is the quality of the prototype and the pictures, but in those two aspects, it looks fairly top-notch. Seems to have all the proper articulation, crisp sculpt, clean paints. In fact, look at those blues and browns. They could have just based it in the appropriate colors, maybe a wash, but those fades from shadow to highlights, from light to dark, very nice transitions. And it's the same for the whites and grays, just a lot more subtle. And I like that because certain parts catch your eye. But at the same time, nothing stands out. It feels like one continuous piece from head to toe. Am I talking about this too much? I just love paint schemes. I love color and transitions and how it all works together. I may not be good at it. I may not know a lot about it. I'm not trained in any way. I just like what I like. And when I saw these pictures, I liked. Because I also don't know if this is based on anything. I'm coming at it from the angle of just being a good-looking furry female figure. That's the other thing that caught my eye. I saw it with my customizer brain. And I've been working on a Legends-style Hepzibah for a while now. Kind of struggling to find parts and pieces and here and there. Yeah, it'd be a more modern take and not really accurate to anything I find on Google, but the spirit is there. And most of the work is already done. Swap the head and add some black paint. You're done. But I'm also shooting for a classic look with the retro hair and the puffier skunk-like tail. So we'll see where it goes. At the moment, though, this is definitely on the list. This is a possibility. Essentially, here's this and some of my inner monologue whenever I see toys on screen. It's like, well, I don't need this for my collection because I don't collect this line, but I can take that part and or piece and or that body, use it for this over here, which I do collect and do build into a display. And oh my God, why am I even considering this? Because money and time, and will it just sit in the custom fodder pile forever, or will I open it up and mess with it and then fall in love with a new line and then have to collect something else? And welcome to this world. Lastly, you know I can't help rambling about any tiny bit of Star Wars that crosses my path. This week it's the Play 112 Galactic Hunter, which I guess isn't technically Star Wars from a legal standpoint. I just look at it and think, that's a damn fine soft goods Boba Fett. But it's not. It pretty much looks like a scaled-down hot toy, which may not be that far from the truth considering that's what most of these third-party companies do. I don't keep up with hot toys. In fact, I try not to even look because, like Medusa's stare, I may turn to stone and fall down that rabbit hole. But I believe that's what Play 112 did last year with their Black Warrior. I think they took the 12-inch Darth Maul, shrunk it down. And then I have no proof of this, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this is the same company that's behind a couple of other very similar pre-orders this year. There's the Good Toys Chosen One and the J&B Toys Spiritual Leader. And if you line up the promo pics, the logos look very similar, the photo layouts, the style, and then there's this. Can't hardly be argued. Why they're swinging back around to Play 112, which they did use for Not Darth Maul, who knows? I can't keep track of this. It's just cat and mouse running around. I do seem to remember people liking that figure well enough. I think the only big complaint was the ankles, because it's one slip-over boot piece, so it got in the way of movement down there. Boba Fett's design has short boots, so the ankle should be more clear here, just going by the pictures. If I did have a gripe, it's that the greens look saturated. They look dark, and then there's the helmet size, which comes up with every Boba Fett release. It doesn't look like a human head will fit under there. But we've seen that from other lines, so much so that it almost looks normal. It took me a minute to go, oh wait, why does it feel proportionally off? Oh, it's the helmet size. So that may or may not be a problem for you. Grand scheme of things, it still looks great. That's what it comes down to. I am kind of infatuated with that base though. The scene specificity, the light up fanciness of it, that may be worth the price alone. Well, okay, probably not, but you get that and then a whole Boba Fett figure with some accessories. That's cool. I didn't get Maul or Anakin. I do have Luke on pre-order because I feel like we haven't gotten that perfect Mando Luke. And this isn't the perfect Mando Luke. It's still too short in the tunic and it's gray for some reason. But I feel like that's easier to fix. I can dye that or swap it out with another soft goods piece. The rest looks pretty good. So I'm on the fence with Boba Fett. How about I wait and see how I feel about Luke if and when it releases, and then go from there. Base my future buying decisions on things and have in hand. Collecting's hard. And that's all I have for this week. Yes, it's a little lean again, but next week is Walmart Collector Con, and more importantly, New York Comic Con. So there will be stuff to talk about because Hasbro's going to be there. They're going to be announcing some things. They're going to have a breakfast Saturday morning. So maybe we'll do the rewind and then swing back around during the weekend. Have a live stream, another video, something. As always, special thanks to the Nobots, the Patreon. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to show more of that documentary about Peter Cushing and his collection because I ran across that this week and it just hit me right here. We've all had those minutes of doubt where late one night we're looking at the collection going, am I too old for this? Every now and then, it's very rare, but I'll be like, I need to get rid of all this stuff. Money, time, what am I doing? Maybe it is finally time to grow up. And I hate to use those words because that's not growing up. That's not the definition. Then a couple minutes later, I'll pick something up. Oh, okay, this is why I do it. Because it's fun! I enjoy it. Even if I am pushing 50. And I'll be enjoying it for a good long while. So seeing Peter, Grand Moff Tarkin, Cushing, laying on a floor, shooting things at toy soldiers, warms my heart. He didn't care. So why should I care? Why should you care? Be proud. Because a lot of people are just miserable. We're out here enjoying ourselves. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
To an ever-growing army of toy soldiers at the Kensington home of film actor Peter Cushing. For in his spare time, Peter, an enthusiastic member of the Model Soldier Society, collects, makes, and acts as general to an army over 5,000 strong. Cushing often links hobby and film career, portraying military leaders in films like The Black Knight and Alexander the Great, and then creating in miniature the armies of these historical characters. Many of these tiny replicas are made from compressed drawing paper, delicately hand-painted and with detachable swords and helmets. Surrounded by these miniature masterpieces, Cushing is not content to just sit and admire them. He plays with them. He plays with them solemnly and conscientiously, according to the rules laid down by H.G. Wells in his famous book, Little Wars, proving, if we needed proof, that playing soldiers is one game we never grow tired of.